Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because, well, we're tackling what is usually the very first hurdle when you're picking up a new language, right? The alphabet. But don't worry, we are definitely not just going to sit here and read down a boring list of letters. No way. We're going to uncover the hidden patterns and those really specific sounds that give Brazilian Portuguese its incredible rhythm and musicality. By the end of this, you are going to feel so confident looking at these letters. So, here's our game plan. Instead of just reciting A to Z like we all did back in grade school, we're going to break these letters down into logical phonetic families. We'll start with the 26-letter foundation, move right into the core vowels, then the familiar consonants, explore some unique sounds and twists, look at the English imports, and finally, wrap up with your very next language step.
All right, let's jump straight into section 1, the 26-letter foundation, which is familiar but definitely a little different.
Okay, so here's the best news right out of the gate. Just like English, Brazilian Portuguese uses exactly 26 letters. You know, when you're trying to learn a totally new language, trying to figure out a completely new writing script can be a massive mental roadblock. But here, you don't have to learn any new symbols. We've already got this perfectly familiar foundation to build on. You literally already know how to write and recognize every single character. So the secret sauce now is just remapping your brain to the new sounds associated with those shapes you already know.
Moving right along to section 2, the core vowels. These are the crucial sounds that truly shape the language. Now, what's really fascinating here is just how straightforward these 5 vowels actually are, especially when you compare them to words you already use every day. Unlike English, where vowel sounds can be, let's face it, totally unpredictable, Brazilian Portuguese vowels are delightfully consistent. A is A, just like the A in car. A is A, like in met. E is E, as in see. O is O, like go. And U is U, exactly like moon. Seriously, I highly recommend you just say them out loud with me right now. Ready? A, E, O, U. Nailing these 5 simple anchors is a total game changer. It will instantly make your pronunciation sound so much more authentic because, honestly, these vowels carry the entire melody of the language. Okay, up next is section 3, the familiar consonants. Think of these as some really easy wins for English speakers. Check out the clear pattern going on here. A ton of these consonants share this really similar S sound ending. So instead of trying to memorize them all randomly, just group them together in your mind. B becomes be, C is se, D is de, P is pe, T is te, V is ve, and Z is ze. See? They all end with that exact same S sound, which just makes them a total breeze to memorize. Even F, which is pronounced iffy, shares that exact same phonetic thread right at the beginning. By visually categorizing these letters together, you are literally slashing your memorization time in half, because you're learning a rule, not just memorizing a list.
And look at this. It brilliantly illustrates another phonetic grouping, the AE pattern. Just look at L, M, N, and S. In Brazilian Portuguese, these become ELI, EMI, ENI, and AC. Go ahead, try practicing that out loud right where you are. Feel how they kind of bounce, ELI, EMI, ENI, AC. It almost feels rhythmic just saying the letters completely on their own. Spotting these phonetic groupings is absolutely the fastest way to lock this alphabet right into your long-term memory.
Now for the really fun stuff. Section 4, unique sounds and twists. This is where we get into that distinct Brazilian flavor.
Okay, whatever you do, do not be fooled by the H. In English, obviously, it's this very breathy sound. But in Brazilian Portuguese, when you're reciting the alphabet, it is pronounced as aga. It completely shifts away from what we expect as English speakers. It's actually a pretty fun one to say, aga. Now, just as a quick aside, in everyday spoken Portuguese words, an H at the very beginning is usually completely silent, kind of like in Spanish or French. But if you ever need to spell your name out loud over the phone, you are absolutely going to need to know aga.
Let's keep going and see how this builds with the letter R. Now, I'll be honest, this one definitely trips up a lot of beginners. The R becomes a he. You really have to forget that hard American R sound. Instead, think of it almost as a breathy H sound that starts way deeper in the back of your throat. And what's really wonderful about this specific letter is that in some regions of Brazil, it's slightly rolled, while in others, it's much softer. It adds this incredibly beautiful, rich texture to the spoken word, depending on exactly where you are in the country. Ehi. It just sounds so expressive.
Now, this next letter absolutely deserves its own spotlight because je is such a specific
elegant phonetic quirk that really defines the sound of the whole language. Whenever you see a G, I want you to think of that soft, buzzing G sound in the French word genre, or the English word mirage. Je. It requires just a little bit of vibration right there in your vocal cords. Mastering je is going to make you sound infinitely more fluent and way more comfortable with the natural cadence of Portuguese. All right, let's take a look at J, Q, and X. Take a quick second to say these out loud with me. Jota, K, and X. So, J is Jota, and you can hear it shares a bit of that buzzing sound we were literally just talking about. Q is super sharp and quick, K. But X, oh man, X is perhaps the most fun letter to say in the entire alphabet, X. It sounds exactly like the English word cheese, just spelled with an SH. These right here, these are the distinct sounds that truly give Brazilian Portuguese its unmistakable rhythm and charm. Almost at the finish line. Section 5, the English imports. Let's look at K, W, and Y.
So, historically speaking, these three letters really weren't used much in traditional Portuguese words at all. But, with modern globalization, they have been fully adopted into the mix, and it is incredibly fun to see how standard global letters like these get localized. K just simply becomes Ka. W takes a very literal translation of W, but with a really heavy, wonderful accent, becoming W. And Y? Well, Y is the absolute best of the bunch. It becomes this rather dramatic, almost Greek-sounding ypsilon. I dare you to try saying that 3 times fast. Ypsilon. It's just a fantastic example of how languages adapt and absorb outside influences.
And finally, Section 6, your next language step. Or in other words, why does all of this actually matter? Now, I know you might be tempted to just skip the whole alphabet entirely and jump straight into vocabulary phrases like hello and thank you. We all want to do that. But listen, by taking the time to master this alphabet first, you instantly unlock a strong, ultra-reliable foundation for spelling. Think about it. If you ever need to spell out your English name or your email address over the phone to a hotel clerk in Rio, you are absolutely going to need to know these letters. Plus, understanding these core sounds is absolutely essential for nailing your pronunciation down the road and effortlessly absorbing new vocabulary. It literally trains your ear to hear the language correctly from day one.
So there you have it. You now hold the master key to the language. You understand the core vowels, you've got the phonetic groupings of the consonants down, and you know those completely unique, beautiful Brazilian twists. The foundational work is completely laid out for you. So really, the only question left to ask yourself right now is, are you ready to book your free trial class and actually start speaking today? You've unlocked all the sounds, but think about it. What vibrant cultural rhythms and hidden stories are just waiting for you once you finally start combining these letters into real words? Keep practicing those sounds, and we will see you next time.